In this exploration of the perils of pride, let's delve into a tale as old as time, where the most magnificent of all angels, Lucifer, becomes a cautionary example. Lucifer, aware of his unparalleled beauty, brilliance, and myriad qualities, began to see himself as not just an angel but as something more, something greater. His pride swelled to such heights that he saw himself above his peers and, daringly, even above God. Him, crafting a throne above the stars, a bold declaration of his desire to rival God. He wasn't alone in this audacious dream. He persuaded a third of the angelic beings to join his rebellion, to seize control of heaven itself. But Lucifer's ambition was his downfall. He lost the war, a war not just of power but of principles. The consequence was severe: banishment from heaven, a fall from grace into the depths of hell. The most striking part of this transformation? God turned Lucifer's most prized attribute, his beauty, into its exact opposite. The once resplendent angel became the embodiment of ugliness and wrath, a being we now know as Satan. This transformation symbolizes the destructive nature of pride. It's not just about an inflated sense of self-importance, but also about how it can distort and ultimately destroy what we hold dear. Now let's connect this allegory to the teachings of Stoicism, a philosophy that emphasizes virtue, wisdom, and self-control. Consider this poignant quote from Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher. "We should every night call ourselves to an account. What infirmity have I mastered today? What passions opposed? What temptation resisted? What virtue acquired?" This introspection is a powerful antidote to pride. It encourages us to reflect on our actions and motivations, to recognize our limitations, and to strive for improvement rather than perfection. Pride, in its essence, is a delusion of grandeur, a false belief in our infallibility and superiority. It blinds us to our flaws and to the value of others. It's a barrier to learning, growth, and genuine connections. In the story of Lucifer, his pride didn't just lead to his fall. It transformed him into a symbol of evil. This transformation serves as a stark reminder that unchecked pride can lead to our undoing both morally and spiritually. As we navigate through life, let's remember the lessons from both the tale of Lucifer and the wisdom of Stoicism. Let's strive to be humble, to recognize our limitations, and to appreciate the contributions of others. Let's use our nightly reflections, as Seneca suggests, to keep our pride in check, to cultivate virtues, and to resist the temptations that lead us astray. By doing so, we not only avoid the pitfalls of pride but also enrich our lives with wisdom, compassion, and genuine fulfillment. In the human morality, the concept of the 7 deadly sins stands out, particularly the sin of pride, often regarded as the most perilous. Thomas Aquinas, a 13th century theologian, profoundly discussed these sins in his Summa Theologiae, emphasizing pride as the root of all other sins. He saw pride not just as a sin but as the originator, the catalyst that opens the door to further moral decay. It's like a gateway, leading us down a path to other destructive behaviors. In our contemporary world, the perception of pride has undergone a significant transformation. Today, pride is often celebrated, even encouraged. Social media platforms are awash with individuals showcasing their achievements, their lifestyles, and even aspects of their identity like nationality, appearance, skin color, and gender. This modern celebration of pride seems to be at odds with the traditional view of it as a vice. But let's delve deeper. Why is pride considered so detrimental, and is it possible that there are, in fact, positive forms of pride? The 7 deadly sins, a concept rooted in Christian theology, present us with a list of 7 immoral acts that transgress against the divine, oneself, and the surrounding world. This idea, initially conceptualized by Evagrius Ponticus as the 8 evil thoughts, including gluttony, lust, avarice, anger, sloth, sadness, vainglory, and pride, has its philosophical roots in the ethics of Aristotle, a testament to its enduring relevance. To understand the complexity of pride, we must distinguish between its harmful and benign forms. Harmful pride is an inflated sense of self-importance, a belief in one's superiority that blinds one to their own flaws and the virtues of others. It's this type of pride that Aquinas warned against, the pride that leads to arrogance and a disregard for moral boundaries. On the other hand, there can be a healthy form of pride, a satisfaction in one's achievements, a recognition of one's worth without diminishing the value of others. This positive pride is about self-respect and dignity, not superiority. The Stoics, with their emphasis on virtue and self-control, offer a valuable perspective on this. They teach us to seek internal validation rather than external applause. As Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This sentiment echoes the dangers of excessive pride and the importance of finding contentment within oneself. So, we should celebrate our achievements and acknowledge our strengths, but also remain humble, open to learning, and appreciative of others. By doing so, we not only avoid the pitfalls of pride, but also cultivate a life of balance, wisdom, and genuine fulfillment. Remember, in the grand scheme of things, every virtue and vice plays a role in shaping our character and our destiny. Let's choose wisely, with an eye towards harmony and self-awareness. The concept of the 7 deadly sins, as revised by Pope Gregory the Fern in the 6th century, stands as a profound guide. These sins, pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth, are not just Christian teachings, but universal themes that resonate across time and cultures. This exploration, part of a broader video series, delves deep into these sins, questioning their relevance and impact in our modern lives. It's a journey that seeks to understand how these ancient concepts influence our well-being and the well-being of those around us, and whether they hold value even for those outside the Christian faith. Our focus here is on pride, often termed the mother of all sins. Pride, at its core, is about an exaggerated sense of self. It's when we view ourselves as inherently superior to others, whether as individuals or as groups. This sense of superiority can be based on various factors: ethnicity, nationality, gender identity, or other personal achievements. On the surface, pride might seem harmless, even beneficial. After all, what's wrong with feeling good about who we are and what we've accomplished? However, the danger of pride lies in its potential to blind us. It can lead us to overlook our flaws, to underestimate others, and to ignore the interconnectedness of our lives with those around us. The Bible succinctly captures this hazard. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. This ancient wisdom highlights the inevitable downfall that often follows unchecked pride. In today's world, where individual achievements and personal branding are highly valued, it's easy to see how pride can creep into our lives. Social media platforms, for instance, can become echo chambers that amplify our sense of self-importance and create an illusion of superiority. But this is where the teachings of the 7 deadly sins, particularly the sin of pride, become relevant. They remind us to maintain a balance, to cultivate humility, and to recognize our inherent interconnectedness with others. Even for those who do not adhere to Christian beliefs, the concept of pride as a potentially destructive force offers valuable insights. It encourages self-reflection, urging us to question our motivations and the impact of our actions on others. It's about finding a middle ground where we can take pride in our achievements without losing sight of our shared humanity and our vulnerabilities. In conclusion, understanding and reflecting on the concept of pride as presented in the 7 deadly sins can be a powerful tool for personal growth and societal harmony. It teaches us to celebrate our successes with humility, to recognize our limitations, and to appreciate the value and strengths of others. By doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to a more compassionate and balanced world. Let's delve into the intricate web of pride, a trait often seen as the most destructive among the 7 deadly sins, particularly from a Christian perspective. This exploration is crucial for men aged 30 to 65, who are often at the pinnacle of their careers and personal lives, making them susceptible to the pitfalls of pride. The Christian doctrine vividly illustrates the perils of pride through various narratives. Take, for instance, the tale of Lucifer. His pride led to an ultimate downfall, a stark reminder that elevating oneself above one's rightful place can have dire consequences. This notion is echoed in the story of Adam and Eve. Here, Lucifer, now Satan, tempts Eve with the promise of godlike knowledge, exploiting her pride. The underlying message is clear. When we overestimate our importance or knowledge, especially in comparison to divine wisdom, we set ourselves up for failure. This concept of pride leading to downfall is not exclusive to Christianity. Stoic philosophy, too, warns against the dangers of excessive pride. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This aligns seamlessly with the Christian view that pride blinds us to our own limitations and the wisdom of others, including the divine. In the modern world, where achievements and status are highly valued, it's easy to fall into the trap of pride. We often credit our successes solely to our efforts, forgetting the role of external factors and the contributions of others. This is akin to the proud Pharaoh of Egypt, who refused to acknowledge God's authority, claiming his power and achievements as solely his own. His story serves as a cautionary tale that pride can blind us to the realities of our existence and our dependence on forces greater than ourselves. The lesson here is profound, yet straightforward. Pride, especially when it leads us to believe we are self-sufficient or superior to others, can be our undoing. It's a reminder that humility and recognition of our limitations and interdependence are vital for a balanced and fulfilling life. As we navigate the complexities of the modern world, it's crucial to remember that our accomplishments are often the result of a collective effort, and that acknowledging this fact does not diminish our achievements, but rather grounds them in reality. In conclusion, pride, while a natural human emotion, can lead to significant pitfalls if left unchecked. It's essential to balance our self-perception with humility and an acknowledgement of the broader forces at play in our lives. By doing so, we not only avoid the traps of pride, but also open ourselves to continuous learning and growth, essential for anyone on the journey of life, especially those in the crucial age bracket of 30 to 65. In the realm of Christian theology, there's a widely held belief that pride is the most detrimental of all sins. This isn't just based on biblical narratives, but also on the understanding that pride acts as a catalyst, spawning a multitude of other sins. It's akin to a gateway drug, opening the door to further moral transgressions. The root of this problem lies in the notion of feeling superior to others, a thought process that pride instills and nurtures. Take, for instance, the sin of greed. It's often fueled by pride as the individual, feeling a sense of entitlement, craves more than they need or deserve, frequently at the cost of others' well-being. Similarly, lust can be traced back to pride. A lustful person, viewing others as mere objects for personal gratification, believes they are entitled to satisfy their desires regardless of the consequences. This objectification stems from a sense of self-importance and disregard for others' autonomy and dignity. Envy, too, is deeply intertwined with pride. It arises from a person's belief that they are deserving of what others have, coupled with an inability to tolerate others possessing what they themselves lack. This sense of entitlement and resentment towards others' successes or possessions is a direct offshoot of pride. Gluttony is another sin that finds its roots in pride. A gluttonous individual might consume more than necessary, driven by a belief that they deserve such indulgence, even when it leads to deprivation for others. This excessive consumption, born out of a sense of self-importance, overlooks the needs and rights of those who might be left wanting. Wrath, characterized by intense anger and a desire for revenge, is often justified by the wrathful individual as a righteous response to perceived wrongs. This justification is steeped in pride, as the individual believes in their infallibility and right to judge and punish others. Lastly, sloth can be seen as a manifestation of pride. The slothful person, deeming themselves too important or superior to engage in work or effort, often expects others to shoulder their responsibilities. This attitude reflects a deep-seated arrogance and a disregard for the value of hard work and contribution to the community. To illustrate these concepts, let's consider a historical figure like Julius Caesar. His ambition and pride led to a series of actions that not only affected his life, but also had profound implications for the Roman Republic. Caesar's pride made him blind to the needs and opinions of others, ultimately leading to his downfall. This story serves as a powerful reminder of the destructive nature of pride and its ability to cloud judgment and lead to ruin. In conclusion, pride is not just a sin in itself, but a breeding ground for other vices. It distorts our perception of ourselves and others, leading to a cascade of negative behaviors and consequences. The lesson here is clear. Humility is essential for a harmonious and just society. By recognizing our own limitations and the value of others, we can avoid the pitfalls of pride and cultivate a more compassionate and equitable world. This understanding is crucial for anyone seeking to improve their life and the lives of those around them, offering a path towards personal growth and societal harmony. Next, we delve into its essence and impact both from a religious and a secular perspective. Pride, as seen in Christianity, is not just a sin, but the root of all sins, a notion that echoes the tale of Lucifer's fall. This concept transcends religious boundaries, posing a universal question: what makes pride so detrimental even when we set aside religious contexts? Imagine an instrument perfectly tuned, yet it insists on playing itself, convinced it knows the melody better than the musician. This allegory, reminiscent of C.S. Lewis's wisdom, captures the essence of pride. A proud individual is often so absorbed in self-adulation that they place themselves above others, their inflated self-perception blinding them to their own flaws while magnifying those of others. They believe they know better, even surpassing those with evident expertise. This self-deception leads us to ponder why someone would overestimate their abilities, striving to be superior in all aspects. John Amadeo, in an article for Psychology Today, sheds light on this enigma. He suggests that pride often stems from a deep-seated sense of inadequacy and shame. To mask these feelings of inferiority, one might adopt a facade of superiority. This defense mechanism involves a constant search for flaws in others to divert attention from one's own shortcomings. Thus, an excessively proud person is often battling an internal sense of inferiority, which fuels their need to feel superior. But let's turn to the Stoics for a moment. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." This insight is particularly relevant when considering pride. The proud person's fear of being seen as less than they are leads to a distorted reality, where their imagined superiority overshadows their true self. Pride, therefore, is not just a matter of overconfidence or arrogance. It's a deeper, more complex issue. It's about how we see ourselves in relation to the world. When pride takes over, it distorts our perception, leading us away from truth and authenticity. It's a barrier to learning, growth, and genuine connection with others. The proud person is like a ship lost at sea, guided by a faulty compass, believing they are heading towards greatness while drifting further away from their true course. In conclusion, pride, in its excessive form, is a destructive force. It's a barrier to personal growth, a hindrance to authentic relationships, and a distortion of reality. As we navigate through life, it's crucial to remain aware of the pitfalls of pride. By embracing humility and a genuine understanding of our strengths and weaknesses, we can live a more fulfilling and authentic life, in line with the Stoic pursuit of wisdom and virtue. Remember, it's not about diminishing our value, but about seeing ourselves and others with clarity and compassion. The psychological phenomenon known as narcissism is a stark embodiment of pride, but not just any pride. It's an extreme variant, deeply anchored in a quagmire of inferiority feelings. Picture a narcissist, reliant on his pride like a crutch, a pseudo-shield of superiority. This pride isn't just a trait, it's his lifeline, warding off the crushing weight of self-perceived inadequacies. Tragically, this form of coping, this pride, often morphs into a destructive force, wreaking havoc both internally and externally. Yet pride doesn't always parade itself so blatantly. It's often a subtle, insidious presence in our lives. Consider our fascination with reality TV shows. Isn't part of the allure observing the foibles of others, secretly reveling in the thought that we're somehow superior? This isn't just entertainment, it's a reflection of pride. Similarly, when we gossip about neighbors or family, aren't we often trying to elevate ourselves on an imaginary pedestal of self-righteousness? And then there's the phenomenon of cancel culture. While it can be a tool for societal good, one must introspect. Are our actions driven by a genuine desire to improve the world? Or are they tinged with pride, a need to assert our moral superiority? In this context, a Stoic quote resonates profoundly. It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. This ancient wisdom reminds us that pride, at its core, is a judgment, a distorted lens through which we view ourselves and others. It's a reminder that our reactions and feelings of superiority are often just our interpretations, not objective truths. Expanding on this, pride can be seen as a double-edged sword. On one side, it can be a source of motivation, pushing us to achieve and excel. But on the flip side, it can lead to arrogance, a sense of entitlement, and an inability to see our own flaws. This duality is especially relevant in today's fast-paced, achievement-oriented society. We're often encouraged to stand out, to be better than, feeding into the prideful narrative. In modern life, this manifests in various ways. Social media, for instance, can be a breeding ground for pride. We curate our lives, showcasing only the best parts, often inflating our achievements and downplaying our struggles. This not only feeds our own pride, but can also foster feelings of inadequacy in others. The advice for navigating this pride-laden landscape is to cultivate humility and self-awareness. Humility doesn't mean undervaluing oneself. Rather, it's recognizing our own limitations and the value of others. It's about understanding that everyone has something to teach us, and every experience, good or bad, is an opportunity for growth. Self-awareness, on the other hand, involves honest self-reflection, understanding our motives, and acknowledging our biases and flaws. While pride is a natural human emotion, it's crucial to recognize its potential for destruction. By embracing Stoic principles, cultivating humility, and striving for self-awareness, we can navigate life with a more balanced perspective, appreciating our strengths without falling into the trap of destructive pride. Pride, often masquerading as a positive force, can paradoxically lead to detrimental outcomes. The ancient wisdom, live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited, underscores the hidden dangers of pride. While it might appear harmless, even desirable, pride's consequences are far-reaching and problematic. The tale of Narcissus from Greek mythology vividly illustrates the perils of pride. Narcissus, so enamored with his own reflection, became entrapped by it, neglecting his basic needs to the point of death. This story, with its various interpretations, fundamentally teaches us about the destructive nature of self-obsession and its ability to alienate use from the world. This is mirrored in today's society, where many prioritize their social media persona over real-life experiences, significant achievements, and genuine human connections. Narcissus, despite being the object of many people's affection, was incapable of loving anyone but himself. His pride isolated him, much like how prideful individuals often distance themselves from others. As Amodeo puts it, such overconfidence and arrogance push us away. Instead of relating to us as equals, they display an obnoxious superiority that makes us feel small. This behavior not only creates a barrier, but also transfers the burden of shame onto others, a shame that the prideful refuse to acknowledge within themselves. Furthermore, the story of Narcissus reveals how pride can be divisive. This is evident in the concept of national pride, which, while often benign, can lead to divisions among people. For instance, During international events like the World Cup or the Olympics, national pride typically fosters a friendly rivalry. However, it can also create deeper, more serious divides. To make this concept more relatable, consider the story of a modern-day Narcissus, a successful entrepreneur named Alex. Alex's company achieved remarkable success, and he became increasingly self-absorbed, often boasting about his achievements on social media. His friends began to feel alienated by his arrogance and slowly distanced themselves. Alex, absorbed in his self-created echo chamber, failed to notice the growing isolation until a personal crisis hit. With no support system left, he realized the cost of his pride, the loss of meaningful relationships, and a profound sense of loneliness. In conclusion, the lesson from Narcissus and stories like Alex's is clear. Pride, while seemingly a source of strength, can lead to our downfall. It blinds us to our need for others, to the beauty of humility, and to the value of genuine connections. As a guiding principle, embracing humility, recognizing our interdependence, and valuing others as equals can significantly improve our lives. Let us strive to be aware of the subtle traps of pride and choose a path of humility and genuine connection, for in doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute positively to the world around us. In this exploration of pride, particularly its darker facets, we delve into how it can both unite and divide, serving as a double-edged sword in the realms of nationalism, religion, and personal spirituality. National pride, for instance, can foster a strong sense of community and unity among those who share a common identity. However, this same pride can morph into a dangerous form of ultra-nationalism, breeding contempt for those who are seen as outsiders. A stark illustration of this is the rise of National Socialism in Germany during the era leading up to and including World War II. This movement was fueled not just by national pride, but also by a pernicious belief in ethnic superiority. The realm of religion is not immune to the pitfalls of pride either. Often religious adherents fall into the trap of believing their faith superior to others, leading to a sense of self-righteousness and disdain for those of different beliefs. This pride doesn't just create rifts between different religions but also within the same faith. It manifests in various ways, such as a Muslim who prays more frequently feeling superior to a less observant neighbor, or a Buddhist monk who meditates more extensively than his peers believing himself to be further along the spiritual path. Even within Christianity, the irony of pride is evident when a person, in their pursuit of humility, ends up feeling superior to others for their perceived humbleness. This paradox of pride, where one's sense of superiority undermines the very virtues they strive to embody, is a profound lesson in humility and self-awareness. Stoic philosophy offers valuable insights into this conundrum. As Marcus Aurelius, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This sentiment echoes the dangers of pride. It is the insatiable craving for superiority, recognition, and validation that impoverishes our spirit and leads us astray from true virtue. In addressing you, the listener, it's crucial to recognize that pride, in its excessive form, can blind us to our own flaws and foster a divisive spirit. It's a reminder to strive for a balance, where we take pride in our identities and beliefs without allowing it to become a barrier to understanding and respecting others. The challenge lies in cultivating a sense of humility and empathy, recognizing that our beliefs and practices, no matter how devoutly followed, do not make us inherently better than others. It's about finding strength in our convictions while remaining open to the perspectives and experiences of those around us. Pride, when left unchecked, can be the worst of the 7 deadly sins, as it often leads to a fall from grace. It's a call to introspection and humility, to recognize our shared humanity and the value in every individual, regardless of their nationality, religion, or spiritual practices. By embracing these Stoic principles, we can navigate the complexities of pride with wisdom and compassion, fostering a world that is more inclusive, understanding, and harmonious. In a world where pride often masquerades as a virtue, it's crucial to understand its true nature and the impact it has on our lives. Pride, when it swells beyond healthy self-respect, can become a barrier, isolating us from others and the world around us. This is reminiscent of the tale of Narcissus, who was so absorbed in his own reflection that he became disconnected from reality. Pride, in its excessive form, acts similarly, creating a self-imposed exile where one is trapped in a fortress of superiority. Alan Wallace, an authority on Tibetan Buddhism, offers a poignant metaphor. He describes the prideful individual as someone perched atop a mountain, a place of isolation, harsh conditions, and barrenness. In contrast, a person who adopts humility is likened to a fertile field, rich in potential and growth. This imagery is powerful, reminding us that true strength and growth come not from elevating ourselves above others, but from grounding ourselves in humility and openness. While pride in one's country or achievements can foster a sense of camaraderie and solidarity, it's important to question the roots of this pride. National pride, particularly evident during a major sports events, often echoes the chant, "We won, we are the best." But this raises a critical question. What exactly are we proud of, and how much of it is truly our own doing? Aspects like nationality, skin color, or height are largely the work of fate, not personal achievement. Recognizing this can help us see pride in a different light. To add a Stoic perspective, consider the words of Marcus Aurelius. "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This aligns with the idea that pride, in its essence, is a craving for more recognition, more status, more superiority. It's a relentless pursuit that often leaves us feeling emptier, not richer. In modern life, where comparisons and competitions are rampant, it's easy to fall into the trap of pride. Social media, workplace hierarchies, and even personal relationships can become battlegrounds for proving our worth. However, the Stoic approach advises us to focus on our internal virtues and actions, things within our control, rather than external validations. By doing so, we can cultivate a sense of contentment and resilience that is not easily shaken by the ebbs and flows of societal expectations and comparisons. While pride can initially appear as a source of strength, it often leads to isolation and a distorted view of reality. Embracing humility and focusing on our internal virtues allows us to connect more deeply with others and the world. This approach not only enriches our lives, but also fosters a community where growth and understanding thrive. As we navigate through life, let us remember that true greatness lies not in towering above others, but in walking alongside them with humility and grace. Consider the circumstances of our birth, the country, skin color, or physical attributes we're born with. These are not achievements of our own making, yet many derive a sense of pride from them, elevating themselves above others for what is essentially the lottery of birth. German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, in his essay about pride, sheds light on this paradox. He acknowledges that pride, in itself, isn't inherently negative. However, when it's based on unfounded reasons, it becomes hollow. Schopenhauer's perspective is that rejecting pride is often a path chosen by those who find little in themselves to be proud of. He highlights a common fallback: national pride. The cheapest sort of pride is national pride, he asserts, suggesting that it's a refuge for those lacking personal accomplishments. This form of pride, shared with millions, is often fiercely defended, compensating for personal inadequacies. But let's consider our own achievements, the degrees we earn, the businesses we build. How much of these successes can we claim as entirely our own? Aren't they also the product of circumstances, opportunities, and support from others? This introspection leads us to a humbling realization. Our proudest moments might not be solely our own doing. Let's turn to a story from ancient Greece. The tale of Icarus, who flew too close to the sun with wings made by his father, Daedalus, serves as a poignant allegory. Icarus, in his pride, ignored warnings and soared towards the sun, only to fall tragically as his wings melted. This story resonates with the dangers of pride. It's not just about overestimating our abilities, but also about failing to recognize and appreciate the contributions of others to our successes. Pride, when misplaced or unfounded, can lead us astray. It blinds us to the collective nature of our achievements and the randomness of our innate attributes. It's a common belief, particularly in Christian teachings, that Despite our hard work, much of what we accomplish is shaped by a higher power, God's will. This perspective suggests that our pride may be misplaced, as we're taking credit for outcomes that aren't entirely of our own making. But let's consider this idea outside a religious context. Imagine someone who has climbed the academic ladder to become a philosophy professor. This path is no small feat. It involves rigorous study, acceptance into a PhD program, completing postdoctoral work, teaching, publishing, and more. Even philosophers like Schopenhauer might agree that after such dedication, a sense of pride seems warranted. This professor might confidently claim, "I achieved this through my own effort. My success is a testament to my hard work and perseverance." But we must pause and ponder the extent of this justification. Consider the factors that contributed to this individual's journey. Who financed their education? Who supported their admission into university? Who enabled them to pursue a doctorate? Even if we attribute much of their success to personal intelligence and effort, we must ask, who blessed them with such intelligence? Who provided the right circumstances, like being born in a conducive country, having a resourceful family, and an upbringing that nurtured their academic pursuits? Reflecting on these questions, we realize that our achievements, no matter how hard-earned, are significantly influenced by fortune. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." This intersection of our efforts with favorable circumstances is crucial. If our professor had been born in less fortunate conditions, would their intelligence and diligence have sufficed? In this light, we see that pride, especially when it blinds us to the role of external factors in our success, can be misleading. It's a reminder to stay humble and acknowledge the myriad elements that contribute to our achievements. As you, a devoted learner and thinker, absorb this, remember that our triumphs are not solely our own but a tapestry woven from our efforts, the support of others, and the unpredictable threads of fortune. We frequently attribute our successes largely to our own efforts, overlooking the myriad of factors beyond our control that have paved our path. For those who don't believe in a divine hand shaping their destiny, it's still evident that fate, or the random interplay of circumstances, plays a crucial role in our achievements. Therefore, claiming sole credit for our successes seems not only unfair, but somewhat delusional. This tendency to overemphasize our role in our accomplishments often leads to an inflated sense of superiority. We see this when individuals, buoyed by their achievements, regard others with fewer accomplishments as losers. But is it truly justifiable to feel superior, considering that everyone's journey is shaped by a unique set of circumstances, often less favorable for some than for others? This brings to mind a powerful Stoic quote by Marcus Aurelius. "We are too much accustomed to attribute to a single cause that which is the product of several, and the majority of our controversies come from that." This insight urges us to recognize the multitude of factors contributing to our successes and failures, fostering a more humble and empathetic view of ourselves and others. The Bible offers wisdom on this matter, advising against arrogance. "Do not be arrogant toward the branches. If you are, remember, it is not you who support the root, but the root that supports you." This metaphor beautifully encapsulates the idea that our achievements are not solely our own doing, but are supported by a foundation laid by others and by circumstances beyond our control. The question then arises, is pride truly the gravest of sins, a gateway to numerous evils that should be avoided at all costs? Or does the Christian view of pride overlook its potential positive aspects? It's crucial to acknowledge that pride isn't always perceived as inherently evil. In the modern context, a balanced sense of pride can be a driving force behind personal growth and achievement. However, the key lies in maintaining a harmonious balance, ensuring that our pride doesn't blind us to the contributions of others or to the role of fortune in our lives. In conclusion, while pride can be a motivating factor, it's essential to temper it with humility and gratitude. Recognizing the broader tapestry of factors that contribute to our successes allows us to remain grounded and empathetic, fostering a more inclusive and understanding worldview. In our journey through life, we often encounter the complex emotion of pride. It can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, pride, in its positive form, is like a gentle pat on the back, a recognition of our achievements and a testament to our self-worth. It's that uplifting feeling we get when we've done something noteworthy, a sense of satisfaction in our accomplishments. But, as we delve deeper, we find that pride has a darker side, one that veers towards arrogance, conceit, and an overbearing sense of superiority. This is where pride transforms from a source of motivation to a potentially destructive force. In 2007, a pivotal study titled The Psychological Structure of Pride, A Tale of Two Facets by researchers Tracy and Robbins shed light on this duality of pride. They introduced us to two distinct types, authentic and hubristic pride. The term hubristic is derived from the ancient Greek word hubris, meaning excessive pride or self-confidence. This distinction is crucial in understanding the multifaceted nature of pride. Authentic pride is associated with genuine achievement, accomplishment, and a healthy sense of self-worth. It's about confidence and productivity, the kind of pride that propels us forward, encouraging us to set and achieve meaningful goals. On the flip side, hubristic pride is linked to a desire for dominance and social validation. It's a pride that feeds on the approval of others, often leading to aggressive behavior in the pursuit of superficial goals. As we reflect on these insights, let's remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Seneca, who said, "A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver or doer." This reminds us that the value of our achievements lies not in the accolades they bring, but in the intentions and efforts behind them. So, dear listener, as we navigate the waters of pride, let's strive for a balance. Let's cherish our achievements and take pride in them, but let's also remain humble, grounded, and true to our purpose. Let's use pride not as a tool for superiority, but as a beacon to guide us towards genuine accomplishment and personal growth. Remember, it's not just about reaching the peak, it's about the climb, the effort, and the intention that truly counts. The dichotomy of authentic and hubristic pride, as explored by Tracy and Robbins, echoes the philosophical musings of Schopenhauer, who distinguished between pride and vanity. Schopenhauer poignantly observed, "Pride works from within. It is the direct appreciation of oneself. Vanity is the desire to arrive at this appreciation indirectly, from without." This insight draws a clear line between self-appreciation that is intrinsic and a desire for external validation. Consider the biblical figure of Lucifer, a classic embodiment of hubristic pride. His excessive pride and quest for superiority led him to seek admiration and dominance, symbolized by his ambition to establish a throne above the stars and wage war for supremacy. Lucifer's story is a powerful allegory of how destructive pride can stem from an insatiable need for external validation and recognition. Pride, indeed, is a multifaceted emotion. For some, it's seen as the root of all evil, a gateway to downfall and moral corruption. Yet others view pride more benignly, as a natural response to personal achievements. However, there's a prevailing notion that people often overestimate their role in their successes, attributing less to external factors or divine providence, as seen from a Christian perspective. This raises questions about the legitimacy of pride. John Amadeo's perspective offers a profound shift in understanding self-worth. He suggests that pride, when based on achievements or self-image, stands on shaky ground. Instead, he advocates for replacing pride with dignity. As Amadeo puts it, a more genuine and stable self-worth is based upon validating, affirming, and valuing ourselves as we are. This approach emphasizes the inherent value of dignity, independent of external achievements. It warns against the trap of becoming addicted to external gratification, where our sense of worth is constantly at the mercy of our latest accomplishments. In the light of these reflections, let's consider the Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to find balance and moderation in all aspects of life. As Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, advised, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This wisdom encourages us to focus on internal validation and self-appreciation, rather than seeking external approval. By grounding our sense of worth in our intrinsic values and dignity, we can navigate the complexities of pride with wisdom and balance. Let's cherish our achievements, but let's also remember that our true worth lies within, independent of external accolades or accomplishments. Our exploration of pride, particularly through the lens of the 7 deadly sins, reveals its multifaceted nature. Pride, in its excessive form, can indeed be a destructive force, leading to a distorted sense of self and a disconnect from the true essence of our being. It blinds us to our interconnectedness with others and the world, fostering division and discord. However, when understood and approach it with mindfulness, pride can also be a source of positive self-regard and a healthy recognition of our achievements and worth. As we navigate through the complexities of pride, it's essential to cultivate a balanced perspective. Embracing humility and recognizing our limitations and dependencies can lead to a more harmonious and fulfilling life. This understanding aligns with the Stoic philosophy of self-awareness and living in accordance with the nature, where excessive pride is seen as a departure from the natural order and a barrier to true wisdom. Now, as we wrap up this insightful journey into the depths of pride and its implications, I invite you to reflect on your own experiences with pride. How has it shaped your life? And how can you find a healthy balance in embracing your achievements while remaining grounded in humility? If you found this video enlightening and thought-provoking, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to Stoic in Your Life. For more content where ancient philosophy meets the modern hustle, don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming videos, where we continue to delve into the profound lessons and practices of Stoicism and apply them to our contemporary lives. Your engagement and support help us grow our community and spread the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Thank you for joining us on this Stoic journey, and until next time, remember to live with serenity, resilience, and a mindful appreciation of the world around us.